Hey everyone, this is Jenny from Homestead Corner. Today I have got 15 spices I think you should have in your long-term food storage. At our long-term food storage, a lot of the foods that we store can be quite bland, and I think it's important to have a wide variety of spices. But today I've narrowed it down to just 15 spices that I think are absolute must-haves in your pantry. And together you can really mix them up and go in a bunch of different directions. And a lot of them have medicinal properties, which are going to help you when you're eating out of your pantry and those emergency foods. So the first one I think is garlic powder. Garlic is wonderful for you. Obviously, fresh is best because anytime you dry something, it loses nutrients. But garlic powder is wonderful and it adds such a great flavor to everything. Number two, onion powder. That is another one. You can dehydrate your own onions and grind them up and make onion powder really simply. I think that onion powder is a great one. Again, that flavor, and the onion helps with congestion as well. With you have fresh onions usually, but I'm sure even dried it would help you. Would just need a bit more. Number three, red pepper flakes or cayenne. You want something to give you a little heat, get that food a little more spicier, which is great. Warm up your belly in the winter, definitely. And they have great medicinal properties as well. So one of those that your family really prefers is definitely, I think it is a must-have in the pantry. Number four, chili powder. Definitely chili powder can help out so many meals, especially if you've only got rice and beans. I think chili powder is a must. We really love to use it in all kinds of dishes. And number five, I would say, is cumin. Those are nice to pair together and really boost up that flavor. Having those two spices really helps with any kind of dishes. You can boost them right up and make them taste wonderful. And number six, cinnamon. Cinnamon is a great one. It is so delicious. Adds a lot of flavor to your breakfasts. If you are on a oatmeal every day, you know, it's really going to help out that oatmeal. And you can add it to breads and muffins and all sorts of stuff, desserts. And having that cinnamon definitely will help out your baked goods and your snacks and breakfasts for sure. Number seven is bay leaves. A lot of recipes call for a bay leaf, especially when you're making soups and things like that. So having bay leaves is wonderful. And they're also great to help deter critters in your dry goods. A lot of times we'll throw them in buckets when we're storing food or anything like that, just as an added protection. They're all sealed up in there, but just in case, a little bit extra might help. I always try to go the extra mile when I'm storing food. So, but bay leaves, definitely lots of recipes call for it to toss it in when you're making a soup, and they are not that expensive. You can get pretty big containers of bay leaves for fairly cheap. I usually buy the big pound bag and it lasts forever. And number eight is oregano. Oregano is just a super herb. It is so good for you and adds a lot of flavor to a lot of dishes. I would definitely keep a good supply of oregano. It's really easy to grow also. So if you have a little patch in the yard or even a pot, you can grow oregano, and you can grow as much as you could use in a year or two in one season. So oregano grows really, really well, and I would not want to be without that in my. And number nine, turmeric. Turmeric is so good for you. It really has tons and tons of health benefits, and it helps with inflammation and things like that. It is great to toss into your foods. It adds a little color to your food, and definitely something I wouldn't want to be without in my pantry. Number 10, sage. Sage is so good if you have any poultry, anything like that. We love to have sage in the house. I think it is a really good one. It's also great if you're making sausage. It really can add tons of flavor. And sage is another one of those things that's super easy to grow. Even if you only have a little pot on the windowsill, you can grow sage pretty easy. The common sage, or, you know, there are a few different kinds, but excellent to have in the pantry. And number 11, thyme goes great with that sage, really, if you are baking anything or mixing up any kind of meals. They really go really nice together. And again, thyme is another easy grower, and you plant it once and it just keeps coming back. Number 12 is salt. We should have a good big supply of salt. And I think we should definitely have more than one kind of salt. We eat pink salt all the time because that's the kind we like and that's the kind we buy. But I also keep regular iodized table salt because in a long-term situation, if I'm not able to get that iodized from other foods and I'm not eating any prepared foods or anything like that, I'm going to want to have that in my pantry because our bodies really do need that. So having a few different kinds of salt, maybe a 5-gallon bucket of your favorite salt and 5 or 6 pounds of some other salts. A good supply of pickling salt, I think, is also a good idea to have. That pickling salt can be used for pickling. It can also be used for fermenting, or lots of different things you can use it for, and to preserve your foods. If you're in that situation where you have to preserve foods, you're going to want to have a good supply of that. Number 13 is just good old ground black pepper. Whole peppercorns are going to last longer in your food storage. So if you have the ability to grind them up as you need them, that is a great way to go, definitely. So having grinders in the house is good. And the peppercorns will last much longer in your pantry. The regular ground pepper will kind of lose its oomph over time. It's not going to go bad or anything, but it will definitely kind of not be so peppery, I guess I would say. And number 14, ginger. Ginger is absolutely wonderful for you, and it really adds a nice flavor, especially when you're making any kind of stir fry, anything like that. You could put a little bit in a soup. You can really give it a little extra zap of flavor. I love having ginger, and I think it is a good one. And really, it is so, and number 15 is dill. Dill is a wonderful spice to have in your pantry. It is called for in a ton of different recipes. You can boost up the flavor of so many kinds of salads and all sorts of stuff, really. And if you are in a position where you have to pickle food to get it stored in a pretty quick manner, dill is wonderful to add. Those green beans, cucumbers, all of those when you're pickling them. Dill really gives it a nice boost of flavor and is wonderful. And that is my top 15 spices that I think everybody should have in their long-term food storage. It's hard to narrow it down to just 15. Honestly, I love to have a good supply and a large variety because spices really can mix up those bland foods and add nutrients definitely to the foods that we do have. So if you have any favorites that you think you can't live without and you should have them in your long-term food storage, definitely add them in the comments down below. It really helps everybody out and gives them ideas of what they might want to add or something they may forget that they haven't really thought of. So that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.